Is there anything you've taken from the first two games on the negative side? Is there anything that you think, except for to the nth degree being nitpicky?
Mhm.
Obviously, perfection is the goal, but anything that you think needs a little to be addressed?
The run game, I would like to see it be a little bit more consistent. Um, hey man, George, y'all play, weaker teams later on, and everything. So, and did last week and won big. And then Florida fans are trying to compare Samford and the University of Miami as though DJ Lagway would have had the exact same performance. And I'm like, but we saw him play against the University of Miami, and we saw anyways. Congrats on that win. Hey, and we're gonna go from there. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, in terms of things that need to get tightened up, I would say, yeah, I would like to see the run game be just a little bit more consistent and showcase a little bit more explosion. Um, we and it's funny, there were some other people in the press box who were having the conversation of should it be Mark Fletcher at the top of the rotation in front of David Martinez. And then I overheard that because it's a small, and there was only like a handful of us there. So I tweeted that out, and then people were getting the reaction. I was like, I didn't say it. I thought it was interesting that other journalists were having that conversation. And after I tweeted that, the very next play, David Martinez scores a 33-yard touchdown, and I'm like, come on, man. So I don't know, but like, yeah, I think it could be a little bit more consistent in the run game, and I would like to see that. I would definitely like to see the offensive line get settled. Jalen Rivers coming back, and whoever wins the left guard job in the opener at Florida, it was Ryan Rodriguez and Matthew McCoy flipping every two series. Obviously, McCoy, both of those guys, Rivers and Rodriguez, were out last week. So Markel Bell and Matthew McCoy played the entirety with the starters. I don't care who the five is, really. I think that Jalen Rivers is your starting left tackle this year. Like, come on. But yeah, I want to see that five get set, like solidify who the left guard is. I personally would prefer Matthew McCoy because he's a little bit bigger, and I think that size, especially when you're going to play an ACC schedule, is going to matter. I mean, you're talking 6'6", 295 versus 6'2", 285 for Rodriguez. And I know physical size isn't everything, but like all things pretty much being equal in my eyes, I would lean in the way of McCoy myself personally. I'm sure that people have a different viewpoint of it. And if there are fine points of offensive line play that I'm missing that are like a thing where like, Cam, no, it should be this. Hey, let me know and I can, expand my knowledge base. But yeah, I would like to just see that. And then on top of that, just getting healthy, imagine what Tyler Barron can do if Ruben Bain is on the other side all game. And he's doing numbers because like they're having to double team Elijah Alston also. And, again, you have Justin Scott, the 5-star defensive tackle. Hey, Jay, what's good, one? Getting his first career sack. Armando Blunt, getting in there also with, another 20 true freshmen. But yeah, getting healthy, solidifying the offensive line, a little bit more consistency in the run game. Just like if you watched the Sunday night game that my Detroit Lions came from behind and won in overtime, that was fourth quarter Michigan at Penn State. We're not thinking about throwing the ball. Line it up, and we're going to bash your fucking face in. And went straight down the field. Sometimes I want to see that. And look, my name's Cam. I'm clearly rooting for Cam at quarterback. You know what I mean? I love all those like blue, like take it up top. But sometimes, and especially because it's my mentality, which is kind of shared with Cristobal, sometimes, hey, shout out to Marshawn Lynch, run through a motherfucker face. Like, I don't care if you know it's coming. I don't care if you got 8, 9 guys in the box. Hulk up, weight room, little boy. Like, I would like to see a little bit more of that. And then finishing drives. Yeah, we settled for some field goals both in the opener and in the second game where I really believe that they should have been 7s, especially in the red zone. So yeah, that being another thing. So yeah, consistency on the offensive line, consistency and explosion in the run game, getting healthy and finishing drives. So those are 4 areas of concrete, improvement that I would like to see if we're really, striving for perfection.
I know that everybody likes the new guy, but as soon as Damian Martinez was acquired, it just seemed like the comments and the media posts that I was running into just kind of discarded Mark Fletcher to a certain extent, like Damian Martinez, two-time All Pac-12. He's the guy, 1,000-yard rusher, and I didn't necessarily see it that way. Of course, it's good to have 2 or 3 guys at least, for one thing. And so, have you seen enough with Fletcher last year, of course, but Martinez this year to compare their running styles?
Yeah, I mean, they both run strong. I think Martinez is a little bit more willing to pop or to bounce it outside, but they run behind their pads. They're very physical runners. I will say there are 3 to 4 running backs. Jordan Lyle is your running back 3. I already waxed poetic about Chris Johnson, who the coaches are gushing about, and he's a multiple time sprint champion who might be the fastest player on the roster at a running back. So I think that there is the talent there. Get off my phone. Sorry, it's my mother. She'll be fine. But yeah, I think they're really both, Martinez and Fletcher. They have great short area quickness. They're big and strong. Fletcher's 2.5, 3 inches taller. So that's a different kind of a thing. But yeah, they're both very talented runners. And you've seen them impact games in positive ways. And it's like, it's Thunder, and Mo Thunder. And then Jordan Lyle, who's a little bit smaller, but like, I mean, I'm not going to call him soft. Like, you see the way that he runs. And again, that when he stepped up in that blitz pickup in the opener and just stoned that safety who had a 15-yard running head start, I said, oh, okay, cool. That's why he's RB3 right there. Because if he's going to go and do that, understand it is one thing, and got there and then was physical at the point of contact. Oh yeah. So like we're really good at running back.
Knox King 94 is telling us that Mark Fletcher is hurt.
He was over the course of the spring and the summer, but Cristobal said it, heading into the Florida game. He said he's full go. He's been full go for a couple of weeks. I mean, you saw it in both games. He's played early and often in the rotation. He had that nice check down swing pass where he skirted around a cornerback and got into the red zone at Florida. He ran over a couple of guys against FAMU. Like, yeah, that was a thing. He had a Liz Frank foot injury from the offseason that was lingering. But yeah, no, Cristobal said it. Even after the second scrimmage, when you're done with camp and you're moving into game prep, Mark Fletcher's a full go, and he's played like it, and I'm really excited about that.
We are finding out through George that tomorrow is Falconer TRX's birthday.
Hey! All right. Happy birthday, Falconer TRX. Nice.
A lot of scores coming in for the Ball State game, but Dirty Cane Thang is going all the way, jumping up to the Florida State.
One game at a time, one play at a time. But as I sit here now, yeah, I feel very confident that that's going to be a decisive Miami Hurricanes win.
I was looking at Florida State's schedule just during the last show and thinking, man, a couple of weeks ago, things change rather quickly. But at times in college football, and it looked like, okay, one of those deals where you're looking for, okay, who could possibly jump up, just like we've had the conversations here. Who could jump up? Who's got the potential? Virginia Tech or somebody like that. And it was tough to find on the Florida State schedule. Now you're looking at Memphis, Cal. They just went to Auburn and SMU, and these teams that are like, well, they'll have a pretty good shot. Like the whole list of them.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. It's the same thing as where Miami has been previously. You show that you're not an elite team, and it opens the door for everybody to believe that they can go in, or wherever the game is played, but that they have a reasonable, if not a probable, chance of victory. So yeah, they're going to have to fight their way out of the corner, and it's going to be very interesting because I don't think that they believe in Brock Glenn or Croman Hoek, because if they did, they would not have gotten DJU. And if what Florida State fans espoused to be true in the offseason, which was Mike Norvell specifically selected DJU from all of the available options over and including Cam Ward as the quarterback for this team, then that just gives me great pause about Mike Norvell, because clearly, like, what are you doing? What are you thinking? You know what I mean? But even someone of that middling talent and performance, being at the top of the list still, in the top of the rotation for them. Yeah. But hey, I ain't got no love lost for them. I'm not sorry for them. It's going to be what it's going to be. But, hey, onward, upward, and forward we go.
We are early in the history of the transfer portal in starting to try to figure out trends and statistics and metrics. But I know that I've got a zillion things on my mind in regards to, I would love to start to track that, because the anecdotal evidence is showing me that this seems to be a trend, but I don't know. I don't want to be fooled by just saying, oh, it's happening there, it's happening there, it's happening there. The quarterback evaluation process intrigues me right now, because we saw at what apparently was a bad decision at Michigan in regards to not going into the transfer portal, staying with Davis Warren as a program guy. If you know his story off the field, it's very admirable what he's been able to achieve. But is he a Michigan starting quarterback? Alex Orji comes into the game against Texas, and it's pretty obvious what he's going to do on 3rd and 3, 3rd and 5. He's going to run the ball straight forward, and that's not the way you want to go on a regular basis. We know what Dabo's approach is to quarterback, or to the transfer portal in general, so there was no shock that he didn't think to replace Cade Klubnik. We see Peyton Thorne, the former Michigan State quarterback, who's just but is he at the Auburn standard? I would think not based on the money that they're paying Hugh Freeze and what Auburn's been in the past. So that seems to be been a miss on the Auburn side. But then on the Lincoln Riley USC side, he said, no, I'm good. Don't need to go to the portal. Got a guy that's been on campus, former 4-star. I think I can work with him. We know what Lincoln Riley's track record is in developing quarterbacks. And that dude looked lights out against LSU on opening night, and must be that good. So the hitching your wagon to a quarterback now has another layer of evaluation. Got to evaluate the room, and it's not just, okay, this is the 4 guys we've got. We got to develop them and keep going and keep recruiting. It's, who else is out there, and what do we do here? We see Notre Dame 2 consecutive rounds has gone transfer portal via the ACC with Sam Hartman and Riley Leonard. Do you have, not a concern because it's only been the Cam Ward acquisition, but it seems like a coach could get into the pattern of never trusting who they've recruited to say, we've never seen it, but we're going to give you the keys. We've never seen it on the field with the bullets flying, but we're not trusting that you're going to be Bryce Young, Justin Fields, CJ Stroud, where you've never played a game, Trevor Lawrence, but you're going to be immediate, because there's these 15 dudes out here that we know that they're going to throw for 25 touchdown passes because they've already done it on this level, and get into this cycle of always replacing the recruits with a veteran quarterback.
I mean, yeah, that is a little bit of a concern, because you have to, every program has to develop from within. That is the key. And sprinkle in some transfers to tie it over. A thing that I was talking about with a couple friends in the press box, I do not believe that next year's starting quarterback for the Miami Hurricanes is currently on this roster. But I don't think so maybe not next year, but in 2 years, I would be okay with Emory Williams if he takes the, path of progression that I think, he can. In a couple of years, as a redshirt freshman, maybe like a Luke Nickel coming off of at least 1 state championship at Milton, maybe 2. It was already won 26 games in his high school career over 2 and a little bit seasons starting. Yeah, I mean, but you have to balance who you are and what your goals are reasonably. I mean, I know that obviously you play to win the games, and everybody would like to win every single game, but you're not going to do that. So you have to balance. SMU, do we stick with Preston Stone or do we go get Tyler Van Dyke? as because we unlocked Tyler Van Dyke previously. So it's like that was an option. And I thought that was going to be pretty direct. But then he's like, no, we're riding with Preston Stone. Preston Stone struggling a little bit this year. So, it's a thing where you have to do your own evaluations and player progression and projection. And hopefully, they're able to live up to it. But I don't necessarily, I mean, it's different because there's only one quarterback and, largely ascribed to the success or failure of the offense because of what they can singularly do throwing the ball, because they're the one person who throws 97% of the passes for a team in a given season. But yeah, if you're always replacing people at any position, then it becomes a little bit of a war of diminishing returns in terms of recruiting. And also, yeah, you have to kind of have reasonable expectations. And if your team is what you believe it is in the building right now, what can be the result? And it would have been, I guarantee you, it wouldn't have been no 9.5 win total heading into the season if Reese Poffenbarger was, QB1, or if Emory Williams was QB1 this year. That definitely would not have been it. So yeah, you just kind of have to weigh all of the parts of the scenario and see where things take you. But yeah, I'm not really concerned because Miami is recruiting so well from the high school ranks that it really is incredibly selective on who we bring in at which positions to fill holes this year, while working in Markeith Williams and Zaquan Patterson, and now starting Jaden Harris at safety with Mish Powell, right? Because we could have gotten both, Mish Powell and the Turner kid who went to Florida and somebody else. We say, no, we're going to get the one who fits. We're going to develop the rest of them. And I already mentioned OJ Frederick. I haven't mentioned Daryl Porter, but he's been out there, things like that. So I think that the balance is there, and I think that Mario and staff are going about this in a right way, where although there is a concern of just kind of playing rotating door at any position, especially quarterback, I think that there will become a point where Miami and most teams will play somebody who they've recruited and internally developed, if they're able to internally develop to the level where the standard is the standard, like I talked about earlier.
Folks, please like the video. It's easy to do. You do like the video, so please hit the like button and subscribe here at the Voice of College Football Miami. Tons of people watch the videos, watch the live streams. You're not subscribed. It's free. Please subscribe. And the Amazon link's down in the ticker. So what that is it's been tested a million times, folks. Believe me, if you use the Amazon link that's in the description section of the video and all the videos, it's completely transitional to your account. Nothing's lost. It will transition instantaneously to your account, and we get partial credit for those purchases at Amazon. SFC Kane, never around like the old days, cause work, but I'm happy we have the potential this year. Hope all is well. Kim, you're still that dude.
Hey man, thank you, brother. I appreciate that so much. Glad that you're around even a little bit. Also, shout out to Dre, who's a consistent watcher of this show. Dapped me up and wished me a belated happy birthday at the opener on Saturday. Really appreciate that, man. He was out there with one of his homies for the home opener and everything. So yeah, kind words. I really appreciate that. And yeah, all y'all boys for being here and watching and commenting, chopping it up. So yeah, man, I really appreciate that. And I'm in the chat and I see those things, Dirty Kane thing, man. I appreciate that, thank you. I appreciate all the praise that y'all are offering my way. And I appreciate just coming in and continuing to watch and listen and everything. Very passionate about Miami, and think that I know a little bit, and glad to be here and share this with you guys.
Folks, remember that we do post-game here at the Voice of College Football Miami. So after the Ball State game, check out our post-game show. State of the U. What's going on there?
Open 24/7, 365. Got a lot of great stuff. Another great piece from Rob Weaver this week. You got rankings update, top 10 Canes, in case you missed that. Number 10 this week. Questionably behind a couple of teams who lost already, but you know what? Whatever. We're going to just walk our path and continue to move forward. So doing that. But yeah, got that and lots more. So I'm not going to spoil any of it. You see the URL there, stateoftheu.com, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the State of the U. Post all the stuff there. And my personal Twitter is at Underwood Sports. So come and chop it up. And if you see me at the game, come and say what's up, man.
I noticed that Tyreek Stevenson had himself a big day on the next level.
Yo, Tyreek Stevenson and Gregory Rousseau, defensive players of the week in the NFC and AFC. So both recent graduate Canes. So you know how your Florida State friends and your Florida friends say nobody's had success since whenever, and Frank Gore has been in the NFL since 5 ever, and he's the only one. Da, 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 da. First round pick a couple years ago, second round pick even more recently. Overall defensive players of the week, both of them in both conferences of the NFL from the U. Like, again, and that's a selling point in and of itself. Greg Russo only played a handful of games. Remember, he sat out the COVID season because, his mother or family members were like nurses, and he was like, I'm not going to do that. And then Jalen Phillips also had a late strip sack, at the end of the Dolphins win. There were a couple other people, Calais Campbell in his first game for the Dolphins. Like, there were more pro Canes making plays than a little bit. So, everybody want to talk about, oh, y'all ain't doing anything. Why is John Feliciano still in the league starting then? John Feliciano, who along with Danny Isadora is one of the 3-star developmental offensive line, like, gem stories from the Al Golden administration here at Miami, right? Whoa, you're talking about, so we've had 4 because it was Al Golden and he's still in the league, got another check and starting. Braxton Berrios in the league making play that, like, there's plenty of them. So yeah, I'm really glad that you brought that up. So yeah, Canes making plays all over the place, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whenever. We out here.